All right, welcome to the last video in this series. For this one, I want to talk about zero copy data exchange. So I wouldn't say that this is a feature of pandas itself, but it's kind of been a big trend in data, especially over the past years, to have a lot of libraries working with the zero copy data. So at the top of my screen, you see some metrics around what's going on in my system. Keep an eye on the memory field. So I'm at rest here around, I don't know, 8.2 gigs. I'm going to go ahead and read in our taxi data that we've been working with before, and we're just going to monitor what happens here to the memory. It's going to increase. Shouldn't come as a surprise. I'm reading this data into memory, and now I'm up to north of 12. Okay, and there's 18 million rows of data, 21 columns in there in that table. So yeah, I can inspect that, look at it in Apache Arrow. What I could do is also run this same code. Now, we've done this, again, a few times throughout this video series, and I'm going to use the types mapper of PD arrow type. So let's take a look at our memory. Nothing changed, okay? So I literally got a data frame for practically free because there was no copy of data using the PD arrow D type. Super cool. I mean, historically, you'd have to copy this data. You'd be, I don't know, doubling it, be 4 or 6, and this is all really done. I mean, behind the scenes, if you were to inspect these objects, you'd see this Arrow C stream dunder, which is part of the Arrow PyCapsule interface. It's a way of exchanging data. More and more libraries are adopting this. So if you see that on any object in the future, there's a good chance that that object is able to produce data frame data for others to consume. So we see here like DuckDB, same thing. I'm just going to bring in DuckDB and start selecting this data from my pandas data frame. Well, my memory hasn't changed. I'm still doing the same thing, and that's because the data frame itself still has an Arrow C stream member as well. Okay, so I'm not copying any data at all, even though I started with PyArrow and I went to pandas and then DuckDB. It's the same data set everybody's using. Polars is pretty much there as well. Now, this won't be perfect, and one thing that's a little bit hard to tell is, when a copy is really required. So I am going to get some copy of data, one going to polars from pandas. Technically, polars uses what Arrow would call like a string view instead of the string type that Arrow has. And some of the details aside, it's not 100% zero copy, but it's not going to copy the data frame entirely. It only copies really what it needs to. So it's great. It just helps you keep that all in one place. And I should call out, like, if we were to take pandas and get rid of that PD arrow D type mapper, it actually does copy everything, right? Because we're not using the arrow representation underneath. So yeah, Arrow is an awesome tool.